لو أن عندي ما تستعجلون به لقضي الأمر بيني وبينكم والله أعلم بالظالمين. وعنده مفاتح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو ويعلم ما في البر والبحر وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. وهو الذي يتوفاكم بالليل ويعلم ما جرحتم بالنهار ثم يبعثكم فيه ليقضى أجل مسمى ثم إليه مرجعكم ثم ينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. For the honor of Imam al-Hussein and his companions, please recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, everybody is doing great. I have a couple of quick announcements, inshallah. Number one is an anniversary of the passing of Marhuma Fariba Iftikhari. Inshallah, let's recite Fatiha after Allah, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. If Brother Muhammad, Shir Muhammadi is here, please join me here for your announcement, please. All right, the other announcements, there is a special Saturday circle tomorrow at the City of Knowledge School. It's called The Path of Imam Mahdi in the Age of Work Culture. They have a special guest speaker, Sayyid Ali Jafari. So if you're interested, you can join them tomorrow at 11 a.m. sharp at the City of Knowledge School in Pomona. So that is my number one announcement. Number two, for those of you who have not been here, we have a special kids program every night in the dining hall. So a few of the sisters are organizing, do a lot of different activities. They have storytelling on the topics related to Karbala. They have a lot of crafting and painting. You can see some of the examples of their works actually over there and in the back, where they pledged their allegiance to the Imam of our time. They made a couple of promises to the Imam to do good deeds. So you can check out those. You can check out what they are doing in the back. So if you have any kids under the age of 10, 11, you may want to take advantage of that opportunity. Also, anyone else who has kids during these nights, you may let them know about the program that is going on here, inshallah. Muhammad is here, not yet. My other announcement is about the Day of Ashura program. So our Day of Ashura program is scheduled for Monday. We'll start at 10 a.m. sharp, inshallah. It's going to be outside. We'll start with Ziyarat Ashura. Then we'll have Maqtal Khani, inshallah, in English by a respected scholar, Hujjatul Islam al-Muslimin Razavian. Then the program will continue with Azadari, Sinazani, and finally with prayers and lunch, inshallah. For that day, please, for the Day of Ashura on Monday, please make sure you do not park in Kaiser, because your cars, your vehicles will be towed. We have coordinated with the motel next door, Walnut Motel right here, so you can park your cars in the motel parking without any concerns, for the Day of Ashura only, not for the night programs. Okay, so inshallah, that's it. One more announcement by Muhammad. He's gonna talk to you about the youth initiative here at Masjid Nabi. Let's welcome Muhammad with al-salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Testing. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. You're all doing well and are staying safe. I want to give a quick announcement. So yeah, my name is Muhammad Shir Muhammadi, and I'm one of the founders of this masjid's youth division. We're currently recruiting new youth members. So brothers and sisters, we think that this is a great opportunity for you to surround yourself by a loving Muslim community, create long-lasting friendships, communicate more with scholars, and immerse yourself in the beautiful education of Islam, and of course show leadership. You can help out in the technical side of things with the social media, like managing the camera works or the live stream, also in the kitchen, planning entertaining youth events, or creating fundraisers, and so much more. Also, this is of course something you can add to your resumes that demonstrates taking a higher role in your community. So I personally think that this is an opportunity you should definitely utilize. And if you're interested, you can reach out to me, Brother Shahrukh, Basir, or Dr. Shaki. And we look forward to meeting you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Muhammad. So inshallah, maybe tomorrow you'll give more details. But it's not just about helping with the programs and everything. It's a learning opportunity to interact with your fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, have fun with them, have a chance to organize programs, interact with the scholars, with, again, other brothers and sisters. So again, any youth, I'm not considered youth anymore, but anybody under the age of 30, 35, we are looking for volunteers from sisters and brothers. Even from sisters, we had this Nisa night program. Looks like I better sit down. Nobody's fixing the camera. That's why we need the youth to help out here. So again, with all of these activities, we had a Nisa night programs, a couple of nights here in the masjid. Last week we had a special youth program here as well. So all of the youth, if you're interested to volunteer, or even if you're not interested to volunteer, you want to just participate, come talk to Muhammad, come talk to Basir. There's sisters there, Sister Mina, Sister Fatima, Sister Noor, all of those, brothers and sisters can help you out and get brother Amir sitting here. Come talk to us, inshallah. Last thing, I promise, tomorrow night we're gonna have a fundraising program, pretty short, inshallah. So we need your support and your generous donations as always. If you want to give, you can talk to me, Sister Musawi, for tomorrow night if you want to bring your checkbooks, your credit cards. So that's a reminder for you, inshallah. Without any further ado, let's welcome our honorable, respected scholar, Hujjatul Islam wal Muslimin, Sayyid Abbas Razavian, with your loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah. So that soon we can do the ziyarat of Imam Hussain from close and say the salam from very near. Please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. For the spirit of all of those that have departed from the mu'mineen, please recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala. We were talking about how can we change the way we think? How can we change the way we see things? A few nights ago, we started with this subtopic that we need to be able to change the way we see God and to see Him as a benevolent God, a kind God. And this also includes the fact that, we'll mention this later on, that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are a display of God's rahmah. They are ma'danur rahmah. They are the source. When you see a mine is what? Where is there more gold? Outside, a few pieces of gold, or inside a mine which has gold in it? So the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and Jami Kabira are known as the source of rahmah, the source of the rahmat of God. So we said we change the way we view God as we see Him as a benevolent God. We see Him at the same time as an engaging God that is controlling the universe, that is not distant from us. Tonight we're going to talk about this topic, is that there is a problem in modern society, not only in the US, but all over the world today. And that is the fact that you see me generation, or the me first culture. And that is that people think that their desires and their wants are much more important than anybody else's. They don't want to do good to others as they want good done to them. It's just about me, my ego, my desires, and my selfishness. Would you agree with me that this is a problem today in the country we live in, the culture we live in, and in amongst the world, this time period? It's a very selfish culture. Now, the way we remedy this and the way we look is by learning from the lessons of Abu Abdullah Hussain and his loyal companions. Look at how some of the companions of Imam Hussain, if they were going to be selfish people, if it's going to be me first culture, they would never have. A martyr is someone that does ithar, that sacrifices what they have, not shares. Shares is good. But sacrifice, to sacrifice means this. It means, for example, if there's a cup of water, there's one cup. And I can have it, or my friend, my brother can have it. Only one can have it. Not there's two cups. One cup. And I sacrifice my share and I give it to my brother. That's sacrifice. That's what the shuhada have done in Karbala. They give their life for their brothers, their companions. They gave their life for Imam Hussain. Look at Zuhair, for example, Ibn Qayyim. Zuhair says, "La wadidtu anni qutilt." If I wish I was killed, thumma nushirt, then raised again, thumma qutilt, then I was killed again, hatta uqtala kada alf qatla. I wish for Imam Hussain, not once. I was killed, alive again, killed, alive again, 1,000 times for you, Hussain alayhi salam. Is this a me first culture? Or is this a culture that I sacrifice for you, Abu Abdullah? So one of the key lessons, brothers, sisters, dear mourners for Imam Hussain, do not come to the mourning of Imam Hussain without learning the lessons. The lesson in Karbala is about sacrifice, is about others, is about leaving the ego and leaving selfishness. Look at Hazrat Abbas, for example. The Maqtal says, his selflessness was so high. Why is he amongst the Karbala, the martyrs, the highest in traditions? It says that all the shuhada wish they were like Hazrat Abbas. How was he like? Because of who he was. You see, brothers, we talked about that example of water. I have water and I give it to somebody else. I give my share, I remain thirsty. But Hazrat Abbas, when he came to the water, it says in the Maqtal, it wasn't as if there was someone else to offer. He came to reach water, the Maqtal says. He was thirsty. For days he did not drink. And then he remembered the thirst of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and the children of Imam Hussain. He didn't even say, I'm going to give this water to them. He was going to bring in a canister for them, yes. But he felt so terrible. He felt so bad. He was so selfless that he said, how can I drink? Well, my master Imam Hussain is thirsty. How can I drink when little Fatima Saghir or Ruqayya, 3-4-year-old girl, wants water? Please recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad ajal. Karbala is a display of being selfless. Karbala is a display of giving to others. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam is a symbol of this. We're going to mention stories from Imam Hussain alayhi salam. The way he was before Karbala. The generosity of Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain was such a, you could say, agha, gentleman, that even when they came to murder him, he turned off the lights and said, if you want to go, go. They're after me. They're coming after me. I'm paraphrasing. I will turn off the lights. It's not about me. Maybe if it was somebody else, they'll say, give me protection. I need bodyguards. He says, no, they're coming for me. Go. If you want to go, go. You're free. Turn off the lights. Don't be embarrassed. Go by yourself. So you see that to tackle one of the biggest challenges, and maybe myself, maybe ourselves, is selfishness in us? Is it me first? I remember once I saw a wrestler, and wrestlers are, pahlavuns. Not only back then would they wrestle, but they would exercise with the love of Amir al-Mu'mineen, with the love of Ali. In the Zur Khunas, in the places where they would lift weights in a traditional way. Some of them would cry so much that the ground was full of tears because of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, because of Imam Ali. One of these wrestlers that was an international level before the revolution, I talked to him, and he said this. He said that when I came to the US, I noticed this line in Dua, Man li ghayruk, that God, who is there besides you? That if you want help from someone else, if you're even starving sometimes, and you see these studies and surveys, I'm starving, they say, can you give me food? Nobody will help you. So this is a dangerous culture. And this same person, this same wrestler that I know, he was trained by one of the Urafa in Tehran, Rajab Ali Khayyat. And when he was wrestling in his ear, the other person asked him, he said to him, can you allow me to win? Imagine this, you're winning in competition, it's about me. I'm going to get a gold medal, and say at that time the leader of Iran will give me a big gold coin, or a prize, for example. Or big, the Olympics will give me a medal. Because he asked him this way, he said, okay. And he allowed him in the wrestling match, and he allowed him to win him. He said, everything good from my life came from that time that I fought against my nafs, my ego, my selfishness, and I gave. And everything, my entire life changed. But he says, when I came to the US, I noticed this, man li ghayr. Who is there besides God? So how can we remedy this? Brothers and sisters, we have responsibilities to each other as a society, as a country, as believers. But most importantly, the Shia have responsibilities to the Shia. Lovers of Ahlul Bayt have responsibility more to each other. Because the traditions say you have been created from one type of soil. Jabir ibn Yazid al-Ju'fi comes. He comes to the Imam. And in this tradition, the Imam mentions to him that Abi Ja'far alayhi salam, which is the father of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Imam Baqir, he says, the Imam, sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes my wife sees it, my family members, my friends sees it. In my face, I'm so sad, but nothing has afflicted me. Nothing happened to me. I'm just sad. Has that happened to you someday? In this hadith from Jabir ibn Yazid al-Ju'fi, a narrator that has 70,000 narrations, they say, Muhammad. He reached this high spirituality that the Imam mentions that because you are brothers, and sometimes an affliction, I'm paraphrasing, an affliction happens some other part of another city, another country, somewhere else to a true Shia, and your spirit becomes sad. You get saddened. Why? Because our father is Imam Ali, our mother is Sayyidah Fatima, and we are all brothers. So true mu'mins, they feel that they get sad from others, sometimes not even knowing it. Why? Because we're one body. I'm going to give you a nice hadith. Has anybody here heard the hadith of the tree of walayat? I think some of the brothers have here. But tree of walayat. That in this hadith, and it's from a great book, from Basa'ir al-Darajat. The hadith goes like this. That Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was asked, and he explains a tree, illustrating a tree of walayat, tree of the authority of Ahlul Bayt. That if you want to draw this in your minds, that draw a picture of a tree. And a tree has roots. A tree has a branch. The roots are the messenger of Allah in this tree. The roots are who? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Then it comes to the main components of that tree, the branches, are Imam Ali alayhi salam. The roots, Rasulullah. Branches, Imam Ali alayhi salam. Then smaller parts, the twigs, are the holy Imams. This is the tree of wilayah. The fruits of a tree are the knowledge of the Imam. And we, me, you, brothers, inshallah, sisters, we are the leaves. The Shia are the leaves of this tree. Therefore, we are all connected to Rasulullah, connected to Imam Ali, connected through wilayat, in a very mystical way, in a way that I say, we're talking about changing the way we see things. changing the way we see each other. Imagine everyone right now, actually, it's nice, as if you're all a leaf right now. And draw a picture of this. I have a nice view because I'm up here. But you see, everyone's a leaf, and it goes back to the Imams, and goes back to Amir al-Mu'mineen, and it goes back to Rasulullah. And this is how our salvation is. Because when the root, wherever the root goes, the tree goes. When Rasulullah, inshallah, will go to heaven, Imam Ali will follow him, and we will enter heaven through the nur of Ali. So we're one body. And therefore it says in the traditions, when a believer gives birth, another mu'min, another Shia, another leaf sprouts on this tree. And when the believer dies, the leaf falls. So you see, there's this connection between us, the way we view ourselves. We should leave, I'm saying, individualism, narcissism, egoism, traits that are very dangerous for us, and imagine ourselves as one body. You heard that expression in culture, they say, have you heard, that's not my problem? That's not my problem, go. We don't have that in Islam. We don't have this amongst this tree. That is our problem. That is our problem. And what connects all of you here right now, this tree? Love of Abi Abdullah and Hussain alayhi salam. Brothers and sisters, I love each and every one of you. I am nobody, I'm a student. But I really feel this. When I come here and I see you, I am more careful because I say you are mourners of respect in my eyes, which I'm nothing. I'm a student. Imagine the eyes of Imam al-Zaman, Imam Mahdi, that how he views you as you are mourners for Abi Abdullah, crying for his grandfather. So this love that we have for Imam Hussain is bringing us, it's gathering us together. It gathers us in Arba'in, 20 million people come. So we have this huge responsibility towards each other. And sometimes the peak of the Shia, like Jabir ibn Yazid Jofi, when one person is hurt, when one person is not in a good situation, he feels it. Let me give you another story from Imam Ali alayhi salam. Let's recite Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam Ali alayhi salam, this is probably during the Khilafat of Ali alayhi salam. Again, in the book, Basa'ir al-Darajat. Old book, has many great hadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, translated in English. Rumayla didn't feel well, and he had the privilege, he was sick, but with his sickness he said, Imam Ali alayhi salam is leading prayer. Let me go and join the prayer and salat of Imam Ali. Sometimes when you hear these stories, I am like this. I get jealous. I get jealous because I'm an orphan, and according to hadith. My father is living, but I'm an orphan according to hadith because I'm living during the time of ghaibat. And if I wanted to go and visit the salat of Imam Mahdi, I cannot do that. Sometimes you see these hadith, you get jealous, you get upset, it hurts you. But Rumayla was like this. It's the Khilafat of Imam Ali. How lucky he was. The Imam was present, and his Imam was in power. And he says, I'm sick, but I'm going to visit Ali alayhi salam and inshallah benefit from him. When Imam Ali alayhi salam sees Rumayla, he already knows he's sick. Not from his appearance, but from his spirit and soul. Because that tree, as I mentioned, when a true Shia is hurt, when a Shia is hurt, the other part of the tree aches and is in pain. We're one body. Rumayla is surprised. How does he know I'm sick? And he says these statements from Basa'ir al-Darajat. Ya Rumayla, laysa min mu'minin yamradu illa maridna bimarade. There is no mu'min that is sick unless we get affected by his sickness. We get sick as well. When you are, brothers and sisters, when you are crying, this means this. When there are difficulties for you in life, does Imam Mahdi feel this or not? Does Imam Mahdi know this? Yes. Some of the Urafa, they say when you say Ya Mahdi, before your ear hears it, Imam Mahdi has heard this. Before your ear hears this, Imam Mahdi has heard difficulties. The Imam is participating, is also bearing with us our pain. وَلَا يَحْزُنُ إِلَّا حَزِنَّا بِحُزْنِ رُمَيْلَ. We are in grief when you are in grief, when you are sad, when you love, when a loved member of your family, for example, passes away, when somebody, the most difficult times of your life exist, the Imam is witnessing, the Imam is with you. Ya Rumayla, wala yad'u illa amanna lidu'a'ih. This is why the prayers of the Shia are answered. And whenever you do dua, whenever you make dua, we say Ameen. We say the Ameen of your dua. So you see, brothers and sisters, let's change. We talked about let's change the way we see things. Let's change the way we see each other. And let's help each other. Because this is one of the best ways to reach God. This is the way that you reach God. Not only, unfortunately, many times we pray and we say, God, can you cure my kid right now? What about all the other kids that are sick right now? What if you were so generous in your dua that you said, right now, God, my kid is sick, yes, but I want you right now to cure all the children in the world. How generous is that? How do you think God would answer your prayers? Better or worse, you think? More. So therefore, we understand that the more we think of each other, the better that we will feel. Sometimes even, so that we're talking about this, that you can feel better. Sometimes the urafa or hadith we have or ulama say, when you feel bad, do good to your brother mu'min. You will feel better. Sometimes you don't feel good. Do good, do khair. In this story I'm going to mention, sometimes people do something for an animal and the Imam observes it. Not only believers, an animal. This story, what I'm going to share for you, is in Manaqib Al-Abi Talib. The reason I say this is that so you know there's a source for this. This is about the generosity of Imam Hussain. Listen up to see how our master was and how much he cared and how much inayat and attention he gives to a generous person, to someone that helps others. In this case, to someone that helps an animal. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, in this book, I'm paraphrasing to make it short, Manaqib Al-Abi Talib, sees a slave in a garden feeding a dog. And he asks him basically, why are you feeding this dog? You know, back then, not necessarily food wasn't as abundant as it is now. Now we're dying because we're overeating. Our problem, our sickness is overeating. Back then, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, days they had times where they didn't have food to eat. They would fast and they only had water. And they would fast again in verse of At'am. So he gives his food, his own food. Imam Hussain alayhi salam is very interested in this person. And he asks him why. He says, because I had gham, because I had huzn, I had grief. And I wanted to remove my grief by giving this dog some happy, and maybe God will remove my grief. Imam Hussain alayhi salam asks him, oh, you have grief? So what is your grief? What is your problem now? Let me help. He says that I am a slave and I don't want to be a slave and I have a Jewish master. So the Imam now, because of something that he did to a dog, he comes to help him out. He comes to give him attention. You see, when you want the Imam to pay attention to you, do good. Do good to one another. Sometimes do good to animals. And the Imam will give attention to you. Imam comes in the barakat of Imam Hussain. He comes to the master of this slave and says, I will give you 200 dinars, free him. This time, this Jew knew, they knew Ahlul Bayt. They knew, the messenger of God. He said, this is a, privilege of the grandson of the Prophet to come to my house to visit me. And he saw the generosity of Imam Hussain. So now I'm going to free this servant for free. You can keep your 200 dinars. Keep it, I'll free him for free. And this garden that you have, that he became generous. This garden that you see, I'm going to also give it to the slave. He's free and he has a garden. Imam Hussain alayhi salam comes. This is the barakat of Abi Abdullah. Gives that 200 dinars back to that person. He could have not. He says, okay, you freed him for free. Okay, I keep my money in my pocket. He gives the money too. So now this person, for feeding an animal, a dog, giving his food to a dog, now has a garden, is freed, and has 200 dinars. The wife sees the generosity of this and sees the beauty of Islam, that Imam Hussain came to free a slave, and he was freed, and he even gave the money to him. She says, I'm going to be a Muslim, and I'm going to give to my husband, forgive my mehriya, my dowry to him. And he says, oh, you're going to become a Muslim? The Jewish owner says, I will become a Muslim too, and I'm going to give you this house in your name. So you see a chain reaction of good in Islam. Why? Sometimes you think that you have to give the best speech to make someone Muslim. But it is by the pure action and the presence of Abi Abdullah and Hussain that what happened at the end, two people became Muslim and a slave was freed. Why? Because he did good. He did khair. He cared about other people. He cared about an animal. So you see that this is how we get the inayat and attention, inshallah, of some people in the hadith probably say this too, that before you make dua, do something good. Do something good for someone else. In your dua, give some sadaqah, then make dua. Let's recite salawat ala Muhammad, ala Muhammad Rajal Fajr. Muhammad Rajal Fajr. But the problem that we have is this, to be fair, is that when it comes to, we said specifically, have insaf, the hadith has, be fair with everyone, but have ithar and sacrifice for the believer. The problem is this, and you might ask me this, that many times have come true that I was taken advantage of by my friend. I was kind to them, and they actually did either harm me or they misguided me. And this is the second part I want to say. We're all brothers and sisters. But is everyone, do you want to spend your time for everyone? Or should you select your own friend? Should that person select you? Or should you select them to be their friend? We're all brothers in Islam, but that person that we have in hadith to make your brother, it should be a true brother. And it says test them. Test them in times of, for example, prayers. Test them before you're now going to be their brother, because now that you're going to be their close friend, the hadith also says, make sure you are more affectionate to them. You give more mercy to them than they give to you. You are more generous to them than they are to you. So the issue is many times we go out and people become our friend because they like us. But the hadith is saying also be careful of your brother. Test them. Some of the tests are this, for example, testing your brother. اختبروا إخوانكم بخصلتين فإن كانتا فيهم وإلا فأعزب ثم أعزب ثم أعزب. Test them. If they don't have this, leave them. Avoid them. Avoid them, avoid them. The Imam, we talked about brotherhood. What about brotherhood? Yes, we have brotherhood. We help everybody. But when you want to give your heart, when you want to have, a true friend, test them first. If they deserve it, then you go all out for them. Then it says here, for example, محافظة من الصلاة. They protect their salat. والبر بالإخوان في العسر واليسر. Second condition. So first condition, they protect their salat. Choose a friend from the center. My young friends here. When you want to choose someone, one of the benefits of coming to the majlis of Abi Abdullah is you find someone else that is in love with Imam Hussain. Find it from their center. Sometimes approach them if needed. Don't be ashamed. They used to, you can come to them and say, where you from? This, approach them and be friends because of their iman. If you look at the ulama were friends with people that were at their level. They studied and they discussed with people at their own level. For example, I know this during the durus of Ayatollah al-Udma Burujerdi, Ayatollah Sistani, and Ayatollah Shubayriya Zanjani studied together. Right? So there are people that at their same level, they grow together. So the first one, test them with khislatain. Test them, see about it. Do they protect their salat? Two, test them to see how they are. Are they going to provide for you? Are they going to be kind when it comes to hardship and ease or not? That is the first thing. So choose your friend. To take notes, number one, we are kind to everyone, but we choose our friend. Two, we should show more love to them than they do to us. Sometimes we go out with our friends, our brothers or sisters. They say, let's everybody go out. I invite them. Then when it comes to paying the bill, oh, where's my wallet? I didn't bring my wallet. Oh, I'm so sorry. Or when it comes to where we want to meet, how come every time we want to meet up, it's right next to his house? I have to drive 1 hour. Right? It's always more convenient to him or according to his time. When you find a friend and you test them with salah, test them to see if they do good in hardship and ease, then you go all out for them. Really show affection to them. Then you truly care for them more, the hadith says, than they do for you. And the believer should be more generous and should actually have an honor for them. Let me pay for them. It's okay to spend some money for your brothers. Give them gifts. It's okay. It's not haram sometimes to pay for the bill. It's not haram. It's actually something good. The third is then sacrifice for them. Prophet Musa alayhi salam comes and says, Ya Rabbi, in hadith, in this hadith, Ya Rabb, Arani darajat Muhammad wa ummati. Prophet Musa alayhi salam knew of the Holy Prophet of Islam and asked for him to show the rank of our Prophet and his ummah. Then in hadith it says, Ya Musa, innaka lam tutiqa dhalik. You are not be able to see this. So Prophet Musa alayhi salam is not able to, but he still insists. And he shows, he says, you cannot bear this, and he shows some of the position of the Holy Prophet of the Prophet, the nation of the Prophet himself, the followers of Prophet Muhammad. And Prophet Musa, this hadith passes out. He passes out. What position did they have? But how did they, wondering how did they reach, Ya Rabbi bimadha ballaqtahu ila hadhihi al-kirama. How did they have such a noble position? He wants to know the ummah of the Prophet. And he mentions to them that it was because of ithar. Because بِخُلْقٍ اخْتَسَسْتُهُ بِهِ مِنْ بَيْنِهِمْ وَهُوَ الْإِيثَار. Because of sacrifice that they have. In this, of course, we say is the sacrifice of the followers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. How much they sacrifice for each other. And this is the reason why Prophet Musa alayhi salam passed out and saw the position. If you're going to continue this dreaded culture of me first, of me, I, and unfortunately social media everywhere taking photos of me, showing myself, showing my food, showing everything, and just my ego is going up. We did not learn anything from Imam Hussain alayhi salam to be selfless, to sacrifice. And the position that they have are people that they sacrifice. So my advice for you, we want to become Hussaini. Learn from the martyrs of Imam Hussain alayhi salam to choose good friends, that we are one nation under, say, we are one tree. When some get afflicted, others will get hurt. You cannot ever, if you cannot help someone, you cannot ever say, oh, I don't care. I don't even feel bad. At least feel bad for them. At least feel bad for them. And at the end, the last thing I want to tell the youth is this. Whenever you talk about friendship, brotherhood, there's an extreme. There's a different type of brotherhood before you're married and a different type of brotherhood after you're married. Sometimes there's different duties. For example, they would come to Allama Tabatawi, give me advice. He would ask him, are you married or you're not married? If he's married, you'd give him one advice. Not married, another advice. We have some people that they go extreme. And when they bring a spouse, they have kids, they go one extreme is they keep their back. And even though brotherhood is good, you find time for your brother, but it should not be in a way that your wife or your husband is being hurt by that, or you're not giving them because they have awlawiyat, they have a bigger right to you than your brother because you married them, they're your spouse, or that's your child. So one extreme is sometimes you see, especially in the hayats and the majalis, there's a specific time married people should go home. Specific time. Or they have work, for example, the next morning. Or there's something to do that's wajib. If you're going to spend all your time, be that extreme, then it's not something good. Then you have another extreme, those that get married and then you can't find them anymore. They disappear. Where were you? Where are you now, brother? I'm married. Didn't you know? I have kids. Didn't you know? So it's up to you. I can't tell you how many hours, or each person, it's up to you to find that balance, because Islam is a balanced lifestyle for us. Find your balance with your work. Find your balance with the masjid. Find the balance, even time for yourself. Do you have to go everywhere with your spouse, for example? No, you do not have to go everywhere with your spouse. Do you even have to share everything with your spouse? No, you do not have to share everything. Still a balance between my life, my personal life, my friends, my married life. So when we talk about brotherhood, keep this in mind, that you do it in a way that, inshallah, it's almost impossible to do this, but you make everyone happy, which is never at the end, but you try. At least Allah knows I'm trying to make everyone happy, inshallah, and that you genuinely care and sacrifice, inshallah, for each other. And this is how one of the most important conditions for, inshallah, Imam al-Zaman to return. For the ummah, for us collectively to grow together as one nation and to be prepared together. And inshallah, tomorrow night we'll talk about loneliness and the dangers of loneliness, and how hadith mentions if a person becomes lonely, that's when shaitan attacks him. That's when a wolf will take and prey upon that. We are stronger together, and that is how, inshallah, Imam al-Zaman will return, when we are collectively growing together. Let's recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If we can dim the lights, we'd appreciate it. They asked one of the reciters for Imam Hussain alayhi salam to mention how Imam Hussain has been killed. He had a roza, and he said, Hajj Agha, please, I want you to read the roza or the maqtala of Imam Hussain. So he read the maqtala of Ali Akbar. Tonight's the night we remember Hazrat Ali Akbar. Second night happened. He said, Hajj Agha, can you please recite the maqtal of Imam Hussain? And again he read Ali Akbar. Third night, he says, I told you, recite how Imam Hussain has been killed. And he says, I did. He said, but you read Ali Akbar. He said, I did read, this is how Imam Hussain was killed. He was killed with Ali Akbar. When Ali Akbar left, Hazrat Ali Akbar left and was martyred, Irba, Imam Hussain died. Imam Hussain died in Karbala. Because Hazrat Ali Akbar is Ashbahun Nas. Khulqan wa khalqan bi Rasulullah. They thought that Rasulullah came to the battlefield. And this is so surprising. How can they kill Imam Hussain? How can they kill someone that looks exactly like Rasulullah? That acted like Rasulullah. This is the Jihad Akbar of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. This is the final test. 18, 19-year-old boy. And to sacrifice him and to see him go. Many people, they might lose their sons. They might lose. But how many have lost their child in front of them? In front of their own eyes, being hit with swords. Being hit with swords. The way that Ali is different than the other shuhada. The Maqtal says, Irban Irba. He was cut into pieces because when he fell down, the enemy said his name is Ali. We hate Ali. And is the son of Hussain. So they began all the hatred they had. After Ali Akbar fell off his horse, they hit him. Imam Hussain at the end would say to the Bani Hashim, come to get Ali Akbar. Not one person, put in jam to come to get Ali Akbar because he was cut into pieces. Irban, irban. This is the Jihad Akbar. This is the highest sacrifice of Abi Abdullah, one of the highest sacrifices of Abi Abdullah. But how did Lady Zainab come in the Maqtal it mentions? I'm wondering how Lady Zainab came at such a time period. When Ali Akbar comes and falls off the horse, Imam Hussain alayhi salam approaches his son. فَجَاءَ الْحُسَيْنِ حَتَّى وَقَفَ عَلَيْهِ. What is Imam Hussain going through? He sees his son. He sees Ali Akbar. May we be sacrificed for you, Imam Hussain. And there it mentions that he starts to curse those that killed Ali Akbar. He starts to give land to them. And then he says this statement that shows how devastated Hussain is. ثم قال على الدنيا بعدك العفاء and the maqtal. Upon dirt and dust be upon the world after you, Ali. وخرجت زينب أخت الحسين مسرعة تنادي. How Zainab from Talla Zainabiyya reaches where Imam Hussain is. You see those that went to Karbala, you see there's a distance, a little distance, a far distance between Talla Zainabiyya and where Hazrat Ali Akbar is. How does she come? She must have had an abaya, chador. How do you run with this chador? Running to reach Ali Akbar, running to help Hussain ibn Ali. I'm sure that Aunt Zainab fell many times between the army, many times, and fell down and stood up again, fell down and stood up again before she reached Ali Akbar. There she reaches him. Ya Ukhayya, wabna Ukhayya, my brother. She says Hussain first. Ya Ukhayya, Hussain, my brother. Wabna Ukhayya, this my nephew. Waja'at hatta akabbat alay. There she threw herself on the dead body, the martyred body of Ali Akbar and Zainab. She couldn't help it. She threw herself on the body of Ali Akbar. فأخذ الحسين برأسه. Imam Hussain took her and let her said, go back to the tent. There Imam Hussain now tells the Bani Hashim, وقال احملوا أخاكم. Bani Hashim, come and get your brother. Come and get Ali Akbar, the Jihad Akbar of Hussain ibn Ali. Inna lillah, inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Allah, we ask you, because of the holy blood of Ali Akbar, the reason why Imam Hussain has 6 sides in his shrine is because he's buried next to Ali Akbar. Ali Asghar is buried on his chest, and Ali Akbar is buried next to them. Because of Ali Akbar, because of Ali Asghar, inshallah, help guide all the youth, inshallah, around the world, inshallah, especially our youth. Ya Allah, we ask you, all you those that are sick, many people ask, and also dua, we have a hajat, we have a dua. Allah, inshallah, grant everyone their hawa'ij, inshallah, if it's maslahat, inshallah. Ya Allah, cure all those that are sick. Forgive all those that have passed away, inshallah. Allow us to see with our eyes Imam Zaman, inshallah. Give us brotherhood and affection and love for one another, inshallah. Bring our hearts together. Expedite the return of Imam Zaman with his salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید علی را بر در خیمه رسانید جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید جوانان بنی هاشم علی را بر در خیمه رسانید بیایید الانان بنی هاشم بیایید علی را بر در خیمه رسانید ماشاءالله جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید علی را بر در خیمه رسانید جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید علی را بر در خیمه رسانید ثمر دلم که وجود تو شده پار پار چون جگرم علی ثمر دلم که وجود تو شده پار چون جگرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی منم آسمان ولایتو منم آسمان ولایتو تو ستاره سحرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی ثمر دلم که وجود تو ثمر دلم که وجود تو شده پار چون پسرم علی پسرم علی بنگر ز داغ تو ای پسر بنگر ز داغ تو ای پسر که چه آمده به سرم علی که چه آمده به سرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی نه مراست طاقت داغ تو نه مراست طاقت داغ تو که تو در جمال پیامبری پدرت قتیل غم تو شهید نیزه و خنجری پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی به کدام زخم تو بنگرم به کدام یا حسین به کدام زخم تو بنگرم که قتیل این همه لشکری تو ز زین فتادی دیدی آسمان شده تیر در نظرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی به صدای گریه امنت به صدای گریه امنت به سرشک دیده خواهرت به رباب و اشک خجالتش به گلوی خوش که برادرت که درید فرق تو روزم که نشانده نیزه به هنجرت به کدام زخم تو خون دل چکد از دو چشم ترم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی تن پار پار نشان دهد تن پار پار نشان دهد که هزار بار شدی فدا ز هزار زخم تو میرسد به فلک صدای خدا خدا به چه طاقتی بدن تو را سوی خیمه ها ببرم علی پسرم علی بنگر ز داغ تو ای پسر بنگر ز داغ تو ای پسر که چه آمده به سرم علی تو بگو چگونه نگه کنم که تو جان دهی ببرم علی پسرم علی ز هزار زخم تو میرسد به فلک صدای خدا خدا ز هزار زخم تو میرسد به فلک صدای خدا خدا به چه طاقتی بدن تو را سوی خیمه ها ببرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی پسرم علی
Hussain, 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 Hussain. Hussain, 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 Hussain. به وقار و شکوه برون آمد ز حرم، وقار و شکوه برون آمد ز حرم. چه می شود که سرم زیر پایش ببرم، چشمم بر بانی کرم. باز روی نبی شد پیدا با دعای خیر لیلا. باز روی نبی شد پیدا با دعای خیر. با تیغ حیدر به دل لشکر با دم یا زهران علی از آن گوی حرم. توان و بازوی حسین سلامت مرتضوی، تمام نیروی حسین. یا علی تو علی اکبر حیدری علی علی، یا علی تو علی اکبری یا خود حیدری علی علی. حسین 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 وای حسین حسین Hussain, 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 boy, Hussain, Hussain. پور لیلا لیلی دل ربای دلها زنده کرده هیبت روی مصطفی را، سولت و تیغ مرتضی را ما تو مبهوت خود نموده کربلا را. در پیش تشنه می دود شاه تشنه کامان، از پی آهوی خرامان، از پی آهوی خرامان. در کفش ذوالفقار بران، پای او در رکاب دلهای بیقراران. پشت سر خانقای تکبیر، پشت سر خانقای تکبیر. بین لشکر تنین فتاده، بین لشکر تنین فتاده. آمده در میان لشکر یا پیامبر یا جوانی روی حیدر، روی ابرو گره فتاده. بر جبین آیه های داور، برق چشمان پرفروغش به سان پروین و ماه و اختر. سایه سر و قند و بالاش تا بلندای صبح محشر. در نگاهش در نگاهش تموجی از نگاه مادر. زد به قلب سپاه کافر، شد بلند از میان هر کس که دیده بود از قدیم الایام. آذرخش هجوم حیدر به قلب خیبر، آذرخش هجوم حیدر به قلب. آفرین بر چنین دلاور، آفرین بر چنین دلاور. رعد و برق صدای تکبیر دانش آموز جنگ سقاف، رعد و برق صدای تکبیر دانش آموز جنگ سقاف. شور محشر، شور محشر به قلب لشگر زده است. رمید آهوی حسین، دمید روح میان اردو حسین. یا علی تو علی اکبری، یا خود حیدری علی علی. یا علی تو علی اکبری، یا خود حیدری علی علی. حسین 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 وای، حسین 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 وای، حسین 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 وای، حسین. چه قیامت چه محشری، چه دلاور چه دلبری. سری از هر سری سری، الله اکبر چه اکبری، الله اکبر چه اکبری. پس این پرده تو چه میبینی که مشتاق بلای تو؟ دل حرم محو رخت، اما محو ذات خدای تو. راهی میدان شدی از خیمه، با این حالت شیداییم همه به دنبال تو آواره. ای مجموعه زیبایی، چه شکوه و سلامتی، چه وقار و اصالتی، چه دل بی نهایتی. الله اکبر چه قامتی، الله اکبر چه قامتی. نام عمویت پدر فضل است، اما تو پدر عشقی. روبرویت معرکه، اما تو راهی سفر عشقی. گریه ابروی تو امیده، قلب خسته سار الله. با حرم و عمه ودا کردی، با لبخند رسول الله. همه اهل حرم از پی او نالان، فلک از نفسش سوزان، ملک از دم او گریان. به کفای نوم اشک و قرآن به تنش، زره رسول دو سرا به لب پدرش. دم یا ولدی اکبر از خیمه برون، چو رسول الله آمد پیش چشمم. سار الله دستی بر قلب، شیرم فریاد علی اکبر، یا علی ولی الله. عجب عشق و محبتی، عجب اصل و اصالتی، عجب ایثار و همتی. الله اکبر چه حالتی، الله اکبر. چه قیامت چه محشری، چه دلاور چه دلبری. سری از هر سری سری، الله اکبر چه اکبری، الله اکبر چه اکبری. دل بیتاب اومده، چشم پر از آب اومده. دل بیتاب اومده، چشم پر از آب اومده، اومده ماه از لشکر ارباب اومده، اومده ماه از لشکر ارباب اومده، دل بیتاب اومده، چشم پر از آب اومده، ماه از لشکر ارباب اومده، اومده ماه از لشکر مشکی پوشان، سینه زنای ارباب، شب همه شب میخونن نوحه برای ارباب. جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام. دل من در به درمون دردش سفره، دل من در به درمون دردش سفره، یه نفر نیست که یه شب ما رو زیارت ببره، یه نفر نیست که یه شب ما رو زیارت ببره، دست ادب رو سینه زنای ارباب، باب سلام میرن همه پایین پای ارباب. جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام. یه بار دیگه جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن آه حسرت میکشم، بار مصیبت میکشم، وقتی که گریم نمیاد خیلی خجالت میکشم، آه حسرت میکشم، بار مصیبت میکشم، وقتی که گریم نمیاد میکشم، پای علم میمونم، پای علم میمیرم، تا دم آخر توی راه حرم میمیرم. جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام سن قربان آقام، سید لجشان آقام، جان آقام نگرمان حسین
هر کجا می‌نگرم جسم تو را می‌بینم صد علی اکبر دیگر به خدا می‌بینی قول دادی که مرا مثل عصایم باشی حال بر روی زمین چند عصا می‌بینم تا که گفتی علیم سنگ به سمتت آمد مثل مادر روی پهلوی تو پا می‌بینم خواهرم آمده از خیمه که من جان ندهم امت را تو ببین بین که ها افتاده همه صدا بزنید حسین جان حسین جان حسین داغ علی اکبر حسین و پیر کرده اونایی که جوون دارن میدونن الهی کسی داغ جوونشون نبینه اومد خدمت ابی عبدالله بابا اجازه بده به سمت میدان برم ابی عبدالله بیدرنگ قبول کرد برو علی جان اما قبل رفتن بذار خوب نگات کنم من نگویم مرا ای ما لیک قدری ببرم راه برو حسین جان اهل حرم فهمیدن علی اکبر میخواد بره میدان همه از خیمه ها بیرون دور علی اکبر رو گرفتن شروع به گریه کردن لما توجه الى الحرب اجتمعت النساء حولك الحلقه دار علی جمع شدن صدا می زدن ارحم غربتن علی به غربت ما رحم کن ولا تستعجل الى القتال برا میدون رفتن انقدر عجله نکن فانه لیس لنا طاقت فی فراقه علی ما از فراق تو میمیریم بالاخره ابی عبدالله رازشون کرد رها شد علی اکبر ابی عبدالله فرمود فانه ممسوس فی ذات الله و مقتول فی سبیل الله رهاش کنید علی اکبر دیگه باید بره هر طوری بود ودا کرد به سمت میدون دوید اما ابی عبدالله داره خیره خیره نگاه میکنه تغییر حال الحسین راوی میگه دیدم حال حسین عوض شد به حیث شرف علی الموت انگار داره جان از تنش خارج میشه صدا زد فقط برد الیهم الغلام اشبه الناس خلقا و خلقا و منطقا برسولک خدا شاهد باش شبیه ترین مردم و به پیغمبرت به میدون برسل یا صاحب الزمان علی اکبر وارد میدان شد حسین ایستاده عباس ایستاده با هر شمشیری که میزنه قمر بنی هاشم صدا میزنه الله اکبر شمشیر میزنه قمر بنی هاشم صدا میزنه لا حول ولا قوة الا بالله جنگ نمایان کرد، برگشت به سمت خیمه. یا ابتا العطش قد قتلنی، بابا آتش داره منو میکشه. راوی میگه فقط ابی عبدالله یک کلام جواب داد، اونم با حالت اشاره، فبکل حسین. برگشت به سمت میدان، طولی نکشید صدای نالش بلند شد. یا ابتا، یه نامردی از پشت با شمشیر به فرق علی اکبر خون پیشانی چشمان از رو گرفت. از به جای این که برگرد زد به دل دشمن. یه وقت ابی عبدالله دید همه دورش کردن، یکی با شمشیر میزنه، یکی با نیزه میزنه. اونایی که شمشیر و نیزه ندارن علی اکبر و سنگ بارونش کردن. رابی میگه فقط او به سیوف اربا بدن علی رو قطع کردن. ابی عبدالله به سمت علی اکبر تا رسید به علی اکبر، فجلس علی التراب. حسین دیگه نداره، رو زمین نشست. چی کار کنه دلش طاقت نمیاره، هی صدا میزنه ولدی علی، ولدی علی. علی جواب نمیده. حسین سینه به سینش گذاشت، دلش آروم نمیگیره. یه وقت رابی میگه فوضا خده ولا خد. حسین صورت مبارک و بر روی صورت یه نگاه کرد، سعی کرد علی رو بلند کنه. دیدین بدن داره از هم میپاچه. یه وقت صدا زد جوانانه بنی جوانان بنی هاشم، جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید علی را بر در خیمه رسانید. خدا داند که من طاقت ندارم علی را بر در خیمه. حالا داله بزن حسین جانم، حسین جانم، حسین اللهم إنا نسألك ونرجوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الذي الأجل الأكرم إلهي بمحمد وعلي وفاطمة والحسن والحسين وتسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين وبدم المظلوم بكربلاء يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله. خدای ما را ببخش بیامرز تا نیامرزیده ای از این دنیا مبر. این قلیل عزاداریا را به لطف و کرمت از ما قبول بفرما. آنچه خیر است به ما عنایت بفرما، آنچه شر است از ما دور بگردان. خدایا ما را حسینی بگردان، خدایا ما را حسینی بمیران.